I wanted to make a TikTok that was about me and my neurodivergence. And part of the reason why is because I feel like what I've been experiencing on TikTok lately is just like kind of the discussion about neurodivergence feeling increasingly abstract. And I wanted to like take it and make it more tangible through the lens of my own idiosyncratic experience. This is not me centering myself. This is not me saying these are the symptoms of neurodivergency. This is like just saying this is one person and how it lives in one person's mind and in one person's body with some specificity rather than like in theory or abstraction. So first of all, I use the word neurodivergency because I'm obsessed with linguistic precision, and there isn't a word yet that feels more precise that I'm ready to say, so I'm not saying it. And I'm constantly on the hunt for the word that feels the most right about the thing that I'm trying to describe, and it's a tiring journey. Another thing about words, every word I look at, I convert into a Scrabble score, and I can tell you what it's worth if it's like a double word, triple word. If a Z happens to fall on a triple letter, it's never ending. I can't read anything without quantifying it in Scrabble points. In addition to that, every psychological text, which is a lot that I've ever read, I've basically memorized and like can point to the page, what the book cover looks like, where it is on the page. If the discussion is about like projective identification, I know exactly where it landed on the page. It's like the strange memorization of psychological technique via literature. And it's just literature, so it doesn't make any of it real. I know that it's just words on paper. And sometimes they come to life in reality, and a lot of times they're just words on paper. Every night that I fall asleep, I have a fantasy that I could put headphones over my ears and it would quiet the noise of my thoughts, and then I have the realization again that the thoughts are not actually at my ears, they're in my head, and headphones would do nothing, and I get upset all over again. It is so loud in here, it never stops, and I'm always trying to get the words out in a way that represents my internal experience, but have basically settled for the fact that I say like a tenth of everything that's going on in here, and that does give me some satisfaction because like that's some discharge of it all. I can't stand when people don't cut their nails and their toenails, and I can imagine standing on a corner of a city street and handing out nail clippers and feeling like that's a totally legitimate thing to do. I don't think it would be socially acceptable, so I'm not doing it. Being a therapist to me is a total relief because there's not a lot of code switching or masking I need to do. It's a constant invitation into a deep conversation. So it's like, thank God. Small talk to me is absolute torture. A group of people sitting around a table after having eaten and just talking is like, I don't know what's happening. I do not know what's happening. And when they're doing it with their food still there, I'm like even more blown away. So like I have got to get away from that table. And I can initiate small talk, but it always ends up in some deep, like very revealing conversation that is often like pretty heavy. So yeah, I can start there. I can't end a conversation with small talk. Other things that feel really important, there's like 4 clothing brands at best I can wear, and for a new piece of clothing to enter into my life, it has to go through a lot. It has to sit in my closet for a while. I never really know if it's going to make the cut. And the ones that have made the cut, I can literally never get rid of. I also have like pretty in-depth conversations with animals, and I feel like I know what they're saying back to me. I can hear their voice and they can hear my voice, and it's extensive, and it definitely goes into reptiles. I just want to be totally transparent about that. There's no kind of animal that I don't feel like I can initiate a really good conversation with. In terms of Gaylor theory, anybody who's like coming at me where like that's a question, I cannot tolerate. Like there's no question for me, and the debate around it literally hurts my feelings. Also, tweezers made by any other brand but Tweezerman also hurts my feelings. And I mean feelings. I'm not just saying that. Like it has to be Tweezerman, or otherwise you're trying to do something to me that actually like feels hurtful. There's a couple more. There's a couple more things that I want to say to add to this, but I don't know what they are at this moment. So I'm going to leave this list here and maybe make another video of more things if they're of comfort to you. And that's my goal. Like, I just want to bring comfort by talking about my experiences, my interior experiences, and wonder if anybody can connect to them. Because, you know, I've always felt like really, really weird. Oh, I know another one. Whew, this one's really hard for me. To experience the fact that my gender can exist in the mind of a cis heterosexual man makes me absolutely bananas. Like, if I try to imagine the way I'm perceived in that man's mind, I'm like off the deep end completely. And I start to feel like I've totally lost control over something when I start to imagine myself into what they're imagining. And I just want it to stop. If this is helpful to you and you want to hear more, or if you don't, just like totally tell me. But the list goes on and on.